and tonight's a good opportunity for these Oregon Ducks to take it and run with it.
So Neal starts on the bench. Taverdi is in. 6-2 with Purishai, Gregoire in, and Daly McClellan out with injury. That's a lot to have to overcome against the #2 team in the country, and the Cornhuskers on a 19-match winning streak. Their only loss this season coming at SMU on September 3rd. Michelle Owabete has 7 aces in the last 2 matches, but Nebraska is a tough team to serve. Landfair goes slow. It's kept up by Collier as well as Gregoire. Alex says see ya, and it's 1-0 Nebraska.
And Landfair started off against Wisconsin as well with a tipping, so I don't know if that's kind of how she starts games or what, but Oregon's on it. But in the end, again, they've got a lot of options going to the middle for that point.
Landfair, who comes out now, she certainly got it going eventually against Wisconsin with a team-high 13 kills in that sweep win. As Gregoire attempts to chop that one and misses off the sideline, 2-0.
And for Oregon, this is new. They have not had any practice time with this 6-2 this year. They haven't done it at all, so I think the first couple points here, working out the kinks to get things going with a rhythm.
Purishai to Collier, high swing, over dig. Right back to Collier. And that's a miss, so it's a 3-0 start. How difficult is it to just unveil, and of course they have to do it because of the injury, they have to do something. Unveil a new lineup against this team.
And that's what Coach Matt Ulmer said, look, we've got to make a decision here. They decided this morning, and here we are in the 6-2, and see how they can play out.
It's a high error start for the Ducks. Purishai, Gregoire in on the back line. Matt Ulmer, in his 8th year as Oregon head coach, has taken his team to back-to-back Elite Eights. Rebecca Halleck there with the hitting error. So Nebraska scores a couple in a row. Mackenzie Morris, who becomes even more important now with McClellan out. Kansas State transfer, led all Power 5 liberos last year in digs. Good serve, and Nebraska rarely gets aced.
That's right, and that's what they need tonight to make up some points right here to keep it close. Mackenzie Morris, 34 aces on the year. Add that one for 35, and this is the serving game that Oregon wants, to come out aggressive, but also be careful with their errors, keeping those down.
Cornhuskers, fewest aces allowed in the entire nation coming in. Merritt Beeson to the floor.
And Merritt Beeson, I mean, an unbelievable opposite hitter here for Nebraska, just beating the block. That ball sliding right down in between Oregon.
Beeson's really had it going lately. 387 in her last 5. Lexi Rodriguez. Had the serve. Ofebu into the block, all the way out.
Well, Ofebu gets up. She really elevates.
John Cook, 25th year. Special year for him. He's hoping that they can take this 25th season deep into December and celebrate in style at the end of the year. But a long ways to go before that. Only one loss, though, this year for Nebraska, and a big part of it, Harper Murray, their top kill getter this year, 3.2%.
Well, I mean, and only a sophomore. Last year, Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Take a look at this angle and the speed. And we've seen Oregon this year put up a triple block, but it's going to be very tough tonight to get 3 over there with this quick offense from Nebraska.
Kristen Klein setting Mimi Collier. Andy Jackson, number 3 in the country in hitting percentage, so that's rare.
That is rare, but when Oregon, look, they've got a solid block. Nebraska knows that, so right now trying to go around it, go for the high hands on that one, but creates an error.
Mimi Collier needs just 1 ace to be top 10 in program history, and she gets it right there.
Kudos to AJ there for putting that out there, and a perfect time here as Oregon's getting a couple aces here in the first set. And again, it's that tough serving game that Coach Ulmer told us they hope to bring tonight.
She's also now number 4 on her own in the rally scoring era in the aces category. 108 career aces with that one. Harper Murray for the kill.
And again, I love Murray coming out strong, aggressive with the attacks. No fear, just goes up against that block. Tools it right off the top.
4-0 start for Nebraska. Since then, a good response by the Ducks. Ofebu, block touch, Jackson. Ofebu covers it nicely. Look at that creative set by Morris. Riley to Murray, and that is off the block and out.
Well, not only does Nebraska have the attackers, they've got 2 in the front row right now with Bergen Riley, the setter, as well. So they've got Harper Murray in the back row, can run that quick tempo BIC, as they call it, right down the middle of the back.
Excellent job there by Showboy. And that is down on the Oregon side. Lainey Showboy had the headline that point, the sophomore from North Carolina.
Well, again, one of the dynamic backcourt players that they have that we talked about at the top of the show.
Yeah, all 3 of them are really good at their jobs. Rodriguez, Mauk, and Showboy. Noemi Glover, dug by Rodriguez perfectly. And Landfair uses the tip with success that time.
I like Landfair, got her feet there, a nice high reach on that aggressive tip off the Oregon block and out of bounds.
Timeout called by Oregon. Nebraska off to a 10-6 start on a 4-0 scoring run.
You're not just another policyholder to us. We remember your name. Hi, Cheryl.
Side, it's in a slide kill.
And right now, again,
for the Cornhuskers.
And that was a perfect pass on a dime right there. Ofebu, she's touching close to 11 feet, so she runs a quick but a little bit higher than you might see most.
Looks like Mia Taverdi is getting the nod over Colby Neal. Taverdi is appearing in her 6th straight match. Neal has been struggling recently, so the freshman from La Vista, Nebraska gets the nod at middle blocker alongside Oni Ofebu.
Well, Oregon has some depth on their roster, and they can give those opportunities to people, see how they make the best of it, and tonight's a good opportunity for these Oregon Ducks to take it and run with it.
So Neal starts on the bench. Taverdi is in. 6-2 with Purashai, Gregoire in, and Daly McClellan out with injury. That's a lot to have to overcome against the #2 team in the country, and the Cornhuskers on a 19-match winning streak. Their only loss this season coming at SMU on September 3rd. Michelle Owabete has 7 aces in the last 2 matches, but Nebraska is a tough team to serve. Landfair goes slow. It's kept up by Collier as well as Gregoire. Alex says see ya, and it's 1-0 Nebraska.
And Landfair started off against Wisconsin as well with a tipping, so I don't know if that's kind of how she starts games or what, but Oregon's on it. But in the end, again, they've got a lot of options going to the middle for that point.
Landfair, who comes out now, she's certainly got it going eventually against Wisconsin with a team-high 13 kills in that sweep win. As Gregoire attempts to chop that one and misses off the sideline, 2-0.
And for Oregon, this is new. They have not had any practice time with this 6-2 this year. They haven't done it at all, so I think the first couple points here, working out the kinks to get things going with the rhythm.
Purashai to Collier, high swing, over dig. Right back to Collier. And that's a miss, so it's a 3-0 start. How difficult is it to just unveil, and of course they have to do it because of the injury, they have to do something. Unveil a new lineup against this team.
I mean, it's tough, but I think, you know, as the season goes on, especially as we're here in November, teams are dealing with injuries, and you've got to figure out the best athletes and personnel you have to put out on the court to create that win. And that's what Coach Matt Ulmer said. Look, we've got to make a decision here. They decided this morning, and here we are in the 6-2, and see how they can play out.
It's a high error start for the Ducks. Pirashai Gregoire in on the back line. Matt Ulmer, in his 8th year as Oregon head coach, has taken his team to back-to-back Elite Eights. Rebecca Alec there with the hitting error. So Nebraska scores a couple in a row. Mackenzie Morris, who becomes even more important now with McClellan out. Kansas State transfer, led all Power 5 liberos last year in digs. Good serve, and Nebraska rarely gets aced.
That's right, and that's what they need tonight to make up some points right here to keep it close. Mackenzie Morris, 34 aces on the year, add that one for 35, and this is the serving game that Oregon wants, to come out aggressive, but also be careful with their errors, keeping those down.
Cornhuskers' fewest aces allowed in the entire nation coming in. Merritt Beeson to the floor.
And Merritt Beeson, I mean, an unbelievable opposite hitter here for Nebraska, just beating the block. That ball sliding right down in between Oregon.
Beeson's really had it going lately. 387 in her last 5. Lexi Rodriguez. Had the serve. Ofebu into the block, all the way out.
Well, Ofebu gets up. She really elevates.
John Cook, 25th year. Special year for him. He's hoping that they can take this 25th season deep into December and celebrate in style at the end of the year.
A long ways to go before that. Only one loss, though, this year for Nebraska, and a big part of it, Harper Murray, their top kill getter this year, 3.2%.
Well, I mean, and only a sophomore. Last year, Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Take a look at this angle and the speed. And we've seen Oregon this year put up a triple block, but it's going to be very tough tonight to get 3 over there with this quick offense from Nebraska.
Kristen Klein setting Mimi Collier. Andy Jackson, number 3 in the country in hitting percentage, so that's rare.
That is rare, but when Oregon, look, they've got a solid block. Nebraska knows that, so right now trying to go around it, go for the high hands on that one, but creates an error.
Mimi Collier needs just 1 ace to be top 10 in program history, and she gets it right there.
Kudos to AJ there for putting that out there, and a perfect time here as Oregon's getting a couple aces here in the first set. And again, it's that tough serving game that Coach Ulmer told us they hope to bring tonight.
She's also now number 4 on her own in the rally scoring era in the aces category. 108 career aces with that one. Harper Murray for the kill.
And again, I love Murray coming out strong, aggressive with the attacks, no fear, just goes up against that block, tools it right off the top.
4-0 start for Nebraska. Since then, a good response by the Ducks. Ofebu, block touch, Jackson. Ofebu covers it nicely. Look at that creative set by Morris. Riley to Murray, and that is off the block and out.
Well, not only does Nebraska have the attackers, they've got 2 in the front row right now with Bergen Riley, the setter, as well. So they've got Harper Murray in the back row who can run that quick tempo BIC, as they call it, right down the middle of the back.
Excellent job there by Choboy. And that is down on the Oregon side. Lainey Choboy had the headline that point, the sophomore from North Carolina.
Well, again, one of the dynamic backcourt players that they have that we talked about at the top of the show.
Yeah, all 3 of them are really good at their jobs. Rodriguez, Mauk, and Choboy. Noemi Glover, dug by Rodriguez perfectly. And Landfair uses the tip with success that time.
I like Landfair, got her feet there, a nice high reach on that aggressive tip off the Oregon block and out of bounds.
Timeout called by Oregon. Nebraska off to a 10-6 start on a 4-0 scoring run. And there is Brooke Nunaviller being honored, who had an outstanding career for the Oregon Ducks. And what a great opportunity to bring the 3-time All-American back, who actually now has a connection, Nicole, to really both of these fan bases.
Yeah, that's right.
Now that she plays for the Omaha Supernovas and just won a league title in the first year of the PVF.
Well, and I talked to Coach Ulmer before, and just said, of course she won a title. I mean, she's a winner. She is an incredible player, indoor, not only indoor, but she also played in the beach team here, and really just all around, I think the fans loved her here. She did a lot of wonderful, great things, and what a huge impact here for Oregon.
Sharing a moment there with her protege, same position, Mimi Collier on the outside. Both great 6-rotation players. Andy Jackson, a slide kill.
And right now, again, this Nebraska offense, Bergen Riley just does such a nice job moving the ball around, hard to know where it's going to go, and they're beating the Oregon block right in the seams.
5-0 run for the Cornhuskers. Oh, Fabu.
And that was a perfect pass on a dime right there. Ofebu, she's touching close to 11 feet, so she runs a quick but a little bit higher than you might see most middles. And wow, she gets on top of that, and there's no stopping it.
Matt Ulmer says they've worked most of the year on serve receive, really focusing on that aspect of the game more than anything else. With this new look Oregon roster, they've had to really focus on that, and it leads to that type of result. As Landfair uses the block for the kill. Welcome to Eugene, Oregon, where #2 Nebraska is visiting #12 Oregon. A.J. Cannell, the former Olympian and Big Ten Player of the Year, Nicole Branna, and it's a 12-7 start for Nebraska as right side hitter Noemi Glover cuts into that lead in the first set. It's a huge crowd, Nicole, here on hand, including a lot of people wearing red.
They are. The Nebraska fans travel well, or they just live all over the country. I don't know, but wherever you go, they definitely have good fan support. But it's been really awesome to see the growth of the fan base here in Oregon. And I know head coach Matt Ulmer has put a lot of time and effort and a labor of love, as he said.
We talked off the top about how everywhere Nebraska goes, they attract these types of crowds, whether it be, you know, hostile environment or a lot of their supporters going with them. Just big crowds one way or the other. The big difference, the wrinkle is tonight, this is new. I mean, this is the first ever Big Ten matchup between these two programs. It's taking place in Matthew Knight Arena in Eugene. Back set, Purishai, and Owabete taking a right side swing is sent away. And here's what's at stake coming in. Something's got to give. Nebraska 6 straight road wins, Oregon 9 straight home wins since that season opening loss against Pittsburgh. Now a lineup change coming in because of the absence of Daly McClellan in the back row for Oregon. They go with a 6-2 to increase their blocking presence. Riley to Taylor Landfair, the Minnesota transfer. She's been tipping a lot early, but it's been working.
She has. I mean, not only tipping and blocking, but she really is doing a nice job. Her 8th start here, going back and forth on that outside position with Lindsay Krause, and Landfair's solidified it these last 8 matches. She puts up a solid block and a powerful attack. When she gets those feet there, she's deadly.
Landfair is 4 for 5 at the start, as Taverdi, who is a lineup addition tonight as well for Oregon, replacing Neal in the starting lineup, has the miss. Right now, Oregon is hitting negative after that hitting error, whereas Nebraska is hitting .571 midway through the first set on a 10-2 run. Tight on the pass, and that is Landfair, who's 5 for 6.
Well, and as you mentioned, AJ, earlier, a 6-2. Oregon is running a 6-2. What that means is they are running with 2 setters tonight. So they will have 3 attackers at the net at all times. The setters will sub in for each other and play 3 rotations in the back row. So that overpass we just saw, the setter can't go up and attack that and joust it because the back row attacker cannot break the plane of the net.
Got to get the ball.
Nebraska swept Wisconsin the other night. So sometimes the top teams are just sweeping each other, which is kind of surprising. You'd think they'd go long 5 setters, but clean volleyball being played.
Taverdi looking to tip it off the block, unable to do so. So the Nebraska lead is out to 10. By the way, how about Leslie Gabriel's Washington Huskies going to Minnesota and taking down their former head coach, Keegan Cook, and the Golden Gophers, and that actually helps Oregon at the top of the standings. They were near the top of the standings, tied with Minnesota as well as Purdue coming into the night. Roberta Purishot to Michelle Owabete, who's really been playing well recently for Oregon.
She absolutely has, coming off a huge night against UCLA where they won and had 15 kills, hit .438. That's a very high efficiency for an outside and makes a coach happy, that's for sure. But she really has done a nice job. She's a high flyer as well.
It's the best she had hit all season. She's also great behind the service line and helps score a point right there after the hitting error for Oregon.
Just a little bit of a misconnection, hit flat on the ball there.
Owabete with 7 aces in the last 2 matches coming in. Landfair, right side swing. Owabete lays out for the dig. Here is Collier. Power tip for the kill. Oregon showing something here late in the set.
Well, Mimi Collier is the go-to. She's been the hot hand for this team. She carries a huge load offensively tonight. Since they're in the 6-2, as we mentioned, she will be also in the passing rotation more, and she just really handles it well.
Ducks are 0-3 against top 10 opponents this year. Matt Ulmer wants to see his team bring the competition and the fight in this situation.
Yeah, I think that's what you want as a coach when you've got some adversity thrown at you. How will the team bounce back? How will they come together and, you know, figure it out? It's a tough one here. Again, especially when you're playing the #2 team in the country. And they're so efficient offensively. And as we mentioned with that backcourt, not a lot of balls drop on the ground against the Huskers.
Coach Ulmer said he's seen his team at times this year get a little bit fast and ahead of themselves, and with some of their lack of experience there, just needing to understand that.
The original
as
call
well as
was
just accepting
ball out, point Oregon. Nebraska's challenging that the ball was in.
He uses the words accepting the challenge, not a challenge in this case in terms of challenging the play, but accepting the challenge of playing the #2 team in the country. Coach Ulmer was eager to see how his team would do in that situation. But let's take a look at this call.
Well, that looks in from my view here, from our view, from what we can see. The ball touches any part of the line, it's in.
Pretty close.
Very close, I'd say.
Is it the ball or the shadow of the ball that's in?
They have to have clear and conclusive evidence to overturn the call, and I'm glad I'm not having to make those decisions, that's for sure. That is very close.
But your first instinct was in.
That was my first instinct, and it looks like they won that challenge, so point to Nebraska. And right now it's turnaround Oregon passing with 2. Mimi Collier at the 3-meter, 10-foot line here, trying to get out of the rotation so she can focus on the attack.
Riley digs it. So the libero set. Murray is handled there by Morris. Gregoire, the out of system swing. Beeson, block contact. Collier into the block, and Nebraska gets the stuff block.
I like the effort from Oregon. They're going for it. There's just a little bit of miscommunication, and the connection, as expected, going for the 6-2 is not quite as crisp as they're used to because they haven't done this.
Olivia Mauk, freshman from Bennington, Nebraska, had the serve and the dig. That's a point from Murray and the Cornhuskers. By the way, with that last block, Rebecca Alec moves into 10th place in Nebraska program history. 347 career blocks for the Lincoln native. Colby Neal has come back into the middle, and Collier kills from the outside.
Good deep swing from Collier. Again, Lexi Rodriguez there, the libero for Nebraska. Doesn't miss a lot of those, but this ball caught her a little bit high on the dig. So point for Oregon, and they're going to need to get some of these things going here from the line and some digs and trims. And a missed serve is not going to help that part of the game, that's for sure.
Speaking of milestones, earlier in the set with her first dig of the match, Lexi Rodriguez passed Kayla Banworth for solo second program history in career digs, and up next is Justine Wong Arantes, and there's a chance that Rodriguez will get there by the end of the year, assuming that Nebraska makes a deep run in the tournament, which has typically been a safe assumption. Andy Jackson misses, so it's 23-13.
Well, those names you just mentioned in the libero position are ones, if you're into volleyball, everyone knows who they are, and Nebraska has really had just top liberos year after year and putting the work in, and that's a big focus head coach John Cook said is defense. He's a real big believer in that. You know, defense, it wins championships. You have all the offense, but you got to have people back there, and this backcourt for Nebraska really puts them above the rest.
You see what's being challenged there, block touch call, as John Cook not shying away from using challenges despite the margin here. He already won one, and if you win a challenge, you will keep it.
Looks like some finger movement there on the left hand. As you can see, what we're looking for there is just the fingers bending back, and looks like it got a piece of Oni Ofebu's left hand on this attack.
I mean, you would think if you're going to challenge in this situation, you have to be certain. And it sure looks like Nebraska's going to win another challenge in this first set.
After review, the ball was touched by Oregon. Nebraska retains his challenge. Point, Nebraska.
Great job getting that look by our Big Ten Network crew. And Nebraska, with that challenge win, is going to move to set point. Not exactly next door to Lincoln, and there are a lot of fans wearing red here tonight, supporting John Cook and his team. First ever Big Ten battle between these two programs. Rodriguez the serve. Ofebu is denied, and Nebraska makes quick work of their new Big Ten foe in the first.
And I wasn't sure how they'd handle the switch with Oregon. Like, how would they respond? Because Nebraska didn't know they'd be running a 6-2 from what I understand. So, you know, but they come out, they take care of business. They passed well. Their side-out game was nearly 70%. Or no, excuse me, 62%, point scoring 70. So tough to beat.
70% point scoring is tough to beat, and Nebraska looking strong in the first set.
Big game tomorrow. You guys ready?
Oh, we're ready, Gus.
Which way's our room?
Bring it in. 301, 2 queen.
Well, we talked about earlier tonight, Washington beating Minnesota. That was on Big Ten Plus, just like thousands of non-televised live events. Enjoy next day replays as well. Subscribe right now, big10plus.com. Through one set in Eugene, it was all Nebraska, and there's some folks in the crowd that enjoyed it and did a lot to get here to enjoy it.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's almost nearly impossible to get a ticket in Nebraska. So these fans, look at this one. I love this sign. Drove 1,600 miles to be able to watch the Lady Huskers. And I believe it. I know they're sold out every game. And I know they're trying to do that here as Oregon as well, as we talked to head coach Matt Ulmer and just the effort and energy that they're putting in to build the fan base from the beginning when he got here. And it has grown every year. I know they were top in the Pac-12 when they made the switch to the Big Ten. He said, we went down to number 6, but we're competing with teams like Nebraska. So we're going to keep getting it done.
First point of the second set. Mimi Collier, Nebraska blocks her. Here's Sophie Gregoire, the redshirt freshman, didn't play last year. She's from Dundee, Oregon.
And a good decision there. Gregoire's got 2 up, especially with Taylor Landfair on the outside for Nebraska. She puts up a solid block, chisels that one down the line.
Merritt Beeson.
Well, I'm just so impressed. Merritt Beeson is an incredible opposite hitter. That was from the left side pin. She really can do it all from wherever she is on the court. But she comes in, and you don't even know where she's going to hit this one. She's facing the setter and just cuts that cross body in the seam.
Great pass as well by Rodriguez on that net clipper of a serve. Riley gives it off to Rodriguez and to Harper Murray. Well done.
And a good decision. We've seen some crushes for Murray there, but that's just the experience. And again, only a sophomore, but having that variety in your tool belt, as we call it, to be able to pull out different swings when the time is right.
That was really smooth. Collier on the faster tempo set, dug by Rodriguez. Block touch here for the Ducks. Ofebu tips. Beeson was right there. Now it's Murray off the block. Purishai laying out. Ofebu takes it. And Gregoire gets it over. Alec right to the middle. Morris was ready. Well played point. Murray got there, but a kill by Collier.
What a long rally. Both of these teams, and as you mentioned, Mackenzie Morris named quite a few times for Oregon, their libero. She is flying all over the court, keeping it alive. They've got to take advantage of those points in transition when they have them, and that was a nice decision by Collier to go in strong in the soft touch over the block.
Big momentum point, potentially, early in the set after Oregon lost big in the first set, although Klein puts it in the net on the next one. Klein, Collier, that connection's been strengthening in recent weeks. That one found Klein on the free ball. Here's Glover. Nebraska's defense just always looks ready for everything. In system here, Bergen Riley, Merritt Beeson. Oregon block, one of the best in the country. Another long point, and Murray is blocked.
And you can see Murray coming down like, all right, okay, sorry, I got that one. And that one, no coverage there. That went pretty deep from the Oregon block. Doesn't normally go down, but good press over the net. We saw a few of these go down the front of Oregon. Now they're getting those hands over and pressing.
6th year UC Irvine transfer, Oni Ofebu, who touches 11 feet. But after 2 long point wins in the set, Oregon has missed the serve on the very next point each time. I know they have to serve tough, though, and Matt Ulmer acknowledged they might miss more than usual against a team that passes like Nebraska, trying to push that serve receive. Glover, cross court, it's out.
Like the aggressive swing angle, barely missed that one on the sideline perimeter.
You know, how many mother-son head coaching duos active are there, and really in any sport in the NCAA? His mom, Leanne, still is the head coach at D3 Carthage in Wisconsin, where Matt attended and helped out. His mom's coaching staff. He was really excited to enter the Big Ten with his Midwest roots. And that's a miss, so Nebraska extends the lead.
Keep an eye now with Merritt Beeson in the back row, coming out for that back row attack. Very powerful weapon.
They'll use her both middle back and on right back, but Glover sides out for Oregon.
Okay, I like Nebraska going for that short serve, but Oregon was ready, and a nice lift by Oabete, who every time, the 2 times I've been here to cover a game, she comes in and does extra passing work every single time after practice is over. Really has dedicated in improving in that area, and that sets up perfectly for that big smash.
Maya De Los Reyes serving sub. And Nebraska, the fewest aces allowed in the country, and Oregon has dished out 3 aces already.
Well, this is what they need, and they know, look, if they want the Oregon block to get involved, to get the triple block going at times, they've got to disrupt the Nebraska offense because they have a very fast-paced rhythm. Coach said that's the only way they're going to be able to get some touches on that.
Beeson on the bit. Right back to Beeson, 2 in a row. She's denied, this time a stuff block by Neal.
Huge by Colby Neal. She is an excellent blocker, solid. She gets not only straight down blocks, but a lot of positive touches for this Oregon team. She has 4 or more blocks this year in 12 matches.
Good response by Neal after Taverdi got the start today. Andy Jackson misses one.
So that huge block from Neal, that creates that error there as well, because now you've got in Andy Jackson a little bit trying to avoid the block. Point for Oregon and getting that momentum on their side.
Jackson now hitting 0 today, 2 kills, 2 errors. She's been a little more error prone lately, although did break out of it against Northwestern in their most recent run. And that is called out off the block. So a point for Nebraska despite the big surge from the crowd afterward.
Wow, that was, look at Oabete. Look how high her head is over the net. Oh, wow, that's
in.
Yeah, don't know if we're gonna have a challenge, but I think we are. And that clearly from our good camera work there, you could see already that the ball was in.
Well, look, that's a tough one though, because you think about
Nebraska's point, Oregon is challenging that the ball was in.
The referees don't have a great angle because they're right over the ball, and the line judge might have easily gotten screened by a player.
Good point. AJ, look at you. You got everyone's back there. I like it.
So that's why you have the replay system. You go review.
After review, the ball was in. Point Oregon. Oregon keeps its challenge.
You can see Maya De Los Reyes there fired up, and I would be too, because this is 3 blocks in a row for Oregon to get things going.
You mentioned how high Oabete got there, and Matt Ulmer talks about he has a couple of undersized players in front. Oabete, Kristen Klein, their setter. They hold up very well as blockers. They're very disciplined, and that's how you have a team that's 3rd in the conference in blocks. It's a 5-0 Oregon run. Harper Murray with the answer.
I liked the setup there, but she just attacked the edges of Colby Neal's left hand there on this attack. Look at her coming from the middle of the court. Strong attack. Thumb down off of Neal's left arm.
What a cool matchup to see these high-level Oregon blockers against these advanced hitters that typically have a lot of answers in tight spots, including Murray with a good serve. And Jackson smashed down.
And that's one of the shifts in the 6-2 for Oregon, is Mimi Collier's going to have to pass more, and with those tight ones, they can't have the setter going up and trying to joust and block those because they are a back row player.
Again, big injury for Oregon. Senior DS Daly McClellan is out, and that's on the wrong side of the antenna. So Nebraska responds to that 5-0 Oregon run with 3 straight of their own.
Well, and they're going to need, Oregon needs to get a pass right here and kind of nip this one right away, because you don't want Nebraska to go on a run and steal all the momentum.
Harper Harper Murray over .3 aces per set, a really high number for John Cook and Nebraska. Signed a contract extension in May through the 2028 season. So it's his 25th year, but he's not going anywhere.
I thought the fans, I saw that, and I thought they're going to throw him up like a concert and just kind of like have him doing the body, you know, like on their hands up and down the stands.
Sure, there are plenty out there that would gladly do that as Collier smashes one on the bick. That's a big weapon for Oregon. It's something John Cook was cognizant of. It's easy, he said, to relax a tiny bit when you see the ball going from the back row, but Collier just gets it out so quickly, you can't let up for a second. Here's Taylor Landfair, the former Big Ten Player of the Year at Minnesota.
And yeah, the Oregon block, the middle's just not getting out quick enough on that one. Colby Neal in the front row right now. And with that fast pace out to the antenna, Landfair, when she gets her feet there, John Cook said, head coach of Nebraska, like, she is one of the best in the country. She hits at such a high point.
Landfair 6 for 9, Harper Murray 6 for 11. The outsides are off to a huge start. Owabete turns it down the line. That kill got Oregon out of 0. They were hitting 0 even kills and errors before that Michelle Owabete swing, the former Big West Player of the Year. Second over, and Bergen Riley very good at that. Good at a lot of different things from the setting position.
Yeah, Coach Cook said she does everything well. She serves well, she's a great defensive player, good blocker, and a great competitor. And look at that right there, taking, you know, power of that one and just getting the point. Lost my words on that.
It was just that pure.
I guess so.
Beeson off hands and a point for Nebraska. Kind of saw this a little bit against Wisconsin, which, you know, special moment for Nebraska, especially their seniors going to Wisconsin, getting their first win there since 2013. First sweep by anybody in the UW Fieldhouse since 2016. As a left-hand attempt by Neal. And Taylor Landfair tries to swat it down, but a layout by Owabete. Alec Rodriguez takes it. Well done, setting up Landfair. The Oregon block has been impenetrable on this point so far, and that's too high by Landfair.
Just a little bit out of reach, kind of a floater ball. Didn't get on top of it to get top spin to land on that end line.
One I was going to make, though, at Wisconsin, it felt like anytime the Badgers got momentum, Nebraska just had the answer very quickly. There was a moment in the second set where it felt like Wisconsin was going to even that match up, and fans were into it, and Nebraska took them out of it really quick, and that's kind of happened right now in the second set here.
Well, they're playing clean volleyball. Nebraska, we've had some long rallies. They're scrappy, they're gritty play, but, you know, they really, that first contact and serve receive is top notch here.
Isn't it crazy? You look, Nicole, and the top 2 teams in the country, fewest aces allowed, Nebraska and Pittsburgh.
Well, and that's why they're top 2.
Sometimes it's pretty simple. Kept up, and the point continues. Murray off the top there. Purishai to Ofebu. Connection looking good with their second setter in the 6-2 offense.
And now what I want to see after that great rally and getting some momentum for Oregon. Look, these are long ones. They're taking some breaths over here, all of them, all these players.
Who do the long rallies favor, would you say?
I guess we'll see at the end of the match who's laying on the ground. But right now, keep this ball in for Oregon. Give themselves another chance here.
Was back set by Riley, but Oregon was ready. Ofebu was ready for Beeson.
Well, Ofebu has really been playing elite with her offense attack, but her block especially getting there, closing it. Look at a little step there to her right, and then makes the adjustment to get out to close that block with Mimi Collier.
assistant Collier knew what to do.
She sure did. She went up that one, almost kind of did a juke, like a double pump on her shot there. Beautiful placement right behind the block of Nebraska.
Collier so far has taken 25 swings. Really early in this match, 25 swings for Collier, and a timeout is called by Nebraska at 14-14 in the second.
Are they really going to spend all?
So we talked about it last week, last Friday, at number 7, Wisconsin, a place where not too many teams go in and win. And that's exactly what Nebraska did, and in sweet fashion.
Well, they did not hold back, that's for sure. And you know, when you're in the Big Ten, and especially when you're going into Wisconsin, it's a tough crowd, sold out as well there. You have to go ready and prepared and bring it from the first point. And that is a big reason here in Nebraska with 19 straight.
What a year for SMU. Nobody's going to want to face them in the tournament. Coming off the timeout, Harper Murray. I have to note, interesting timing for that timeout, given that it came 1 point before a potential media timeout at the 15-point marker. Would have been an auto timeout, but John Cook had seen enough, and it worked out.
Sometimes it's the feel. You just got to take it when you feel it's right, and it paid off.
And it certainly has. They've won 2 points in a row after that one went long off the arm of Ofebu. Mimi Collier hitting error, 3 straight for Nebraska off the timeout.
Well, Mimi Collier having nearly half the attempts for Oregon, so Nebraska can kind of favor that. If you're the middle blocker, a little bit of a lean on that right foot to get out there to get the double block up.
Great timeout, as it turned out, by John Cook. It leads to a Matt Ulmer timeout.
In Big Ten tied right now in ranked teams, but they have been the top over the years, and night after night, you never know. Even if a team's not ranked, you've got to be ready to go and come out from point number 1.
A John Cook timeout, then a 3-0 run. Matt Ulmer uses timeout, and Oregon sides out. And 2 in a row for the Ducks. Beeson is blocked.
Well, here's what we've learned. When you keep the serve in from Oregon, and it doesn't mean a lollipop over, but good pace and in the court, the block is helping right now. They're getting some nice setups, some good press. Look at that. Oabete, excuse me, again, pressing over that left hand straight down.
Nice serve. Morris to the floor, and Oregon keeps it going. Out of system, Murray, well done. Just touching that one down.
Well, and that one again, just sliding in set 1. We saw that with Oregon, the ball just sliding between their block, hands not over. Murray does an excellent job, just kind of slam dunking this one right in between all 3 blockers. And that's when you'll see Oregon do the triple block, is when it's an out of system set like that one.
Murray, different type of shot, tries to cut it cross court, too much on the angle. Well, that's why Matt Ulmer was saying he doesn't expect maybe for us to see the triple block quite as much tonight, because usually Nebraska is in system.
Yes, they are. They pass well and they run a very fast offense, so it's really hard. And it's also that decision of, do we want to have a 4th defender on the floor or send them over?
By De Los Reyes. Passed by Nauk. Good shot by Glover, getting Nebraska out of system. So here's Oregon's chance. Klein, a big set from Collier.
Mimi Collier is just an incredible athlete, and like I said, carries a big load here for Oregon. Offensively, defensively, look at that from the back row, elevates and just blasts it right by Andy Jackson's block.
Collier improving this year as the competition has gotten tougher. Numbers up in Big Ten play. Andy Jackson off the block into the net and down to the court. Nebraska back in front in the second.
She didn't like getting beat on that block, so she was like, all right, set me the slide and we'll just take care of it.
Do you think that there's something, is it something to do with Oregon's blocking strategy? The fact that Nebraska's outsides have both gone off, but everyone else has struggled so far?
Well, the outsides are doing a nice job with the shot selection. They're coming in strong and swinging for Nebraska, but they're also making good decisions in finding the open court with the soft tips or the roll shots. So they're just getting creative.
Landfair and Murray both well over 300. All the other Nebraska hitters haven't really gotten on track so far from an efficiency standpoint. Contact was there. And so it's all square going into this Roberta Purishai serve. Purishai started the season opener against Pittsburgh, then was on the bench for a long time, came in recently when Klein hurt her ankle, and now is in there in a 6-2 due to the McClellan injury tonight, as Jackson starting to feel it a little bit for Nebraska, a couple of slide kills.
Yeah, she has done a nice job, and only a sophomore as well, freshman year. Actually had the highest hitting percentage ever by a freshman Husker, and carrying that momentum into this season, really playing very well.
Roof against Neal. Alec and Landfair were right there.
Well, that was a straight down roof there by Landfair, and Landfair on the outside pin. She's doing a nice job setting this block up. That's a solo right there for her.
Pretty big block at 6'5" to have there on the outside. Again, that's a weapon for Oregon. They love going back row to Collier. Sometimes they go to her more back there than in front.
Well, I think, you know, in this situation, Mimi Collier has been the go-to. She's got the hot hand offensively, and in this scenario with the 6'2", they're comfortable setting her. They know her rhythm. They do practice setting both of these setters, all the hitters, but it's just that game time of getting that connection going and kind of working out the nerves.
Alec got up there with one arm. Very perfect dig. Here is Landfair. Oabete just reacts. Get enough there with the dig. Tight this time, so a joust. Riley wins. Point still going. Bergen Riley. Taylor Landfair is down.
And a powerful swing, Landfair. I mean, with the blocking, with the offense right now, she is on fire and just blasts that ball right in between Oregon's block. They are having a very hard time slowing her down, and Harper Murray, as you mentioned, on the pins. Those two leading the way for Nebraska.
That was a huge point by the Cornhuskers to make it 22-20, and Matt Ulmer recognizing that and calling timeout.
We'll have Penn State at the end of the season, so mark your calendars for that one.
Couple of top 4 matchups within the Big Ten this weekend. You look at AVCA Coaches Poll top 10. Big Ten is even with the ACC right now, both dominating the top 10 in the AVCA poll.
Well, these conferences have been battling out year after year of who's kind of in the lead on that one. Wow, what a huge swing by Neal. No one up.
Hello.
And this is what Oregon needs to do to get things going. Mimi Collier has 31 attempts already, and the next person isn't even in double digits. They've got to get Neal going, Ofebu in that middle, and got to get those passes up.
Collier has been the one for Oregon as usual tonight. In system, Purishai, Collier, Murray digs. Nebraska is just so tough defensively. Beeson, too tall there, looking for some hands, didn't get it, and Oregon scores twice in a row.
What a huge point there for Oregon, just back to back. The crowd's up, they're on their feet. This is what they need, and Don't get iced in this timeout, which John Cook for Nebraska is trying to do. Make you think about it on the service line. Keep the ball in, get that D going.
The timeouts have been very effective so far in this second set. Signature matchup for the volleyball team today, trying to give their best against number 2 Nebraska. It's Nebraska and Pittsburgh at the very top of the country. Most people view those two teams as the consensus, top tier. Penn State nipping at their heels a little bit. Also, right there, though, is the number 3 team in the country. Collier gets contact.
Huge swing from Collier, going for the high hands. And look, when she's in the front row and it's coming down to a couple points to clinch a set, expect her to get the ball. And Nebraska knows it. But right now they have Ofebu in the middle. She's been hot. Got to get her the ball as well when there's a pass to keep things mixed up.
Oregon Riley has options here. Merritt Beeson, block touch there for Oregon, but not a great touch after that. So Nebraska has an opportunity. Murray slows it down. Alec reacts. Kristen Klein was there. Glover down the line. Nothing. Yes, contact. Contact called. Set point, Oregon.
Kristen Klein, setter for Oregon, coming up with that dig in the right back position. Sets her team up for this set point here. Look at this. Glover going up high, gets a piece of the fingers, and it looks like we might get a challenge here from head coach John Cook of Nebraska.
Because if anything, that was a micro touch, if it was a touch.
I actually looked at you with my papers and swiped them. I saw
the original
touch
call
too,
was touch
again,
off Nebraska, point Oregon. Nebraska's challenge, and there was no touch.
So after the first set went 25-12, Nebraska, we're in a challenge right now. This second set has featured 10 ties and 4 lead changes.
And definitely Oregon has smoothed things out this set. They've got the block going. Their serve has been giving some trouble. But most importantly, their serve has been in, which has been able to get the block going and some transition points. Yeah, that does look like it's over. Look for any fingers bending back.
Don't really see much, but remember, the call on the court was that Glover did earn the kill off of a block touch, so you need conclusive evidence to the contrary. And whoever has this point after this challenge will have set point. John Cook won both challenges that he took in the first set, so right now Nebraska has both of its challenges remaining. Allowed John Cook to challenge in a key spot, trying to see if there was a block touch. It'd be the pinky if it touched Murray.
And the ball kind of, when it crosses, can't really see as well.
But here's my question for you. Is it enough to overturn it?
Doesn't seem like it. Not clear and conclusive. When I was sitting here watching it, I saw the ball shift in direction a little. That's why I personally kind of thought it was a touch. But in that replay, you don't see, kind of get the fingers blocked as the ball passes it. We'll see what they come up with, taking their time to make sure they get this call.
Look, it's a tough job down there for Ronald Pelham, the R2, who the R2 down on the court is always in charge of making these replay calls. Devaney McClarty is up in the referee stand, the R1. Zooming in a little bit.
After review, the ball is out. Nebraska will retain its challenge and point Nebraska.
Wow, Nebraska is 3 for 3 tonight, challenging calls, and John Cook hands his team set point.
Well, the fans here aren't going to like that one, that's for sure. And right now, it's how you bounce back for Oregon. Look, that didn't go your way, so let's get the pass. They've been getting some momentum on their side. Mimi Collier in the front, Oni Ofebu, and Noemi Glover. 3 options. Now, Glover for Oregon, number 3, is stacked on the left side, so she'll actually be flying across the whole court from what we've seen so far this season to attack on the right.
The 3-time All-American libero serves. Ofebu tips Rodriguez right there. But a chance for the Ducks once again. Glover, the sophomore, inbounds this time.
I know when I was a player, if I didn't get that call, I wanted the ball again because I wanted to show the ref, hey, that one was mine. Let me get this one. And that's Glover coming in, attacking the line. Love that aggressive swing down the line. They gave it to her, and she finds it.
No need to review it. Well served by Collier. Here's Merritt Beeson. Oabete. And Nebraska back on set point.
So Oregon's giving themselves the opportunities. They're making the digs. Their block is slowing down Nebraska's offense right now, getting some positive touches.
Oabete the pass. Back to Glover. Murray reacts to the tip. Here is Harper Murray. Dig to attack. Harper Murray, the sensational sophomore.
Well, I love that dig. Harper Murray reacts to it, comes down, does the hard work to get off the net and put herself in a good position to attack that set.
Matt Ulmer said, and as it turns out, he was foreshadowing in our call, you cannot tip your way out of it against Nebraska. They tried on set point and failed, and Harper Murray gives Nebraska the win at Deuce in Oregon, giving the number 2 team everything they had, but Nebraska was right there ready for the Ducks.
When my doctor gave me Breztri for my COPD, I noticed things changed. Breztri.
Oregon, which the top 4 teams would do that. Oregon on the bubble of hosting the first couple rounds that you mentioned. Over dig by Riley. Purishai. Neal. And a clear for Colby Neal.
I think Rebecca Alec of Nebraska right there thought she was going to maybe throw it over, then changed her mind and just kind of went weird off the hand. But Colby Neal here with the middle attack. And again, I like that they're getting the middles going right off the bat in this first point.
Been just a heavy diet of Collier so far. But Neal scores twice for Oregon, that time a stuff block.
Well, Neal provides a ton of stability here for this team, and also in the middle blocking position, but good leader here and a great lineup there on Alec from Nebraska.
Oabete, strongest server on the Ducks team. Mackenzie Morris, bump set to Oabete in the back row. Rodriguez to Landfair. Purishai, Collier. I don't know, is it the fact that the Ducks are just wary of how good the Cornhuskers defense is because they've been missing a lot. They've been high error tonight.
Well, I think they want to come out aggressive and swing that one. Collier going for high hands, but just got a little flat on the ball. Didn't quite get on top of it as much to get those fingertips.
Oregon hitting sub 100. Nebraska only 187. That is out, so it's off the block and out. A kill by Sophie Gregoire. Service miss, Mackenzie Morris.
And that one down the line, Harper Murray in the front row. So Oregon's going to try to attack her, make her pass and hit. Not an easy job to do when you're up front row passing, hitting want to try to make you work extra hard.
She's been aced a couple of times so far in this match. Short serve, Rodriguez, perfectly done. Nice shot by Gregoire down the line, but Rodriguez was ready.
This is a great chance for Oregon here.
Oabete on the board.
Wow. I love that connection, and what perfect timing. And you've got 3 options in the front row, but that's some confidence setting back row to Oabete and wide open. Look how the ball just spins to that sideline, out of reach for Rodriguez.
So in this 6-2, which is being employed by Matt Ulmer tonight as a blocking strategy with one of their top passers out in McClellan. And Kristen Klein now in, their other setter. Harper Murray, roll shot kill. We've seen a few of those from her.
Well, and that's the risk there with the triple block, is with Collier going over for that third blocker, you open up this perfect shot here for Murray, and she knows. I've seen her do that all year long. She has good vision on the court and finds the open spots.
Murray's numbers pretty much on par with where she was last year. Jackson. Glover tips. And a nice dig during that point, by the way, by Morris as well.
Yes, it was. Mackenzie Morris is doing the work there. Transfer from Kansas State this past summer. And getting those ups for Oregon to get these big points in transition. Glover, love that. Comes in hard and a soft tip right behind the block.
Morris was a back-to-back Scholar Athlete of the Year in the Big 12. Got her accounting degree and is now enrolled in graduate classes after graduating from Kansas State, transferring to play her final year with Oregon. Murray serves Oabete. Back one, Ofebu.
Just get that in your mind right there. Beautiful pass from Oabete, and that's the hard work she's putting in the after hours with that passing repetitions has been paying off. Comes in strong, and Ofebu, look how she elevates. I mean, they have not been able to block her yet. They need to get her the ball more when she's in the front row.
And they used that slick, that slower, quick timing, even on the back one. Great set by Klein, and a good response by the Nebraska setter, Bergen Riley.
And you've got to respect that. Bergen Riley's up in the front row. She's an offensive setter. She will attack the ball like that, so you've got to pause on her before releasing out to the other hitters.
All the attention this year, Nicole, on the freshman setters in the conference. Riley, she's the OG. She was the freshman setter of the year last year.
That's right. And now we got Kristen Klein out here leading the charge. Izzy Stark, another one at Penn State. Charlie Furbringer at Wisconsin. I mean, not a easy thing to do to come as a freshman as any position, but to run these elite offenses.
Happy birthday, Kennedy Orr makes the save. Coming in as the service sub. Bad touch there as Moore slipped. And Alex scores for Nebraska. But I was told that Kennedy Orr loves her birthday.
Okay.
I mean, some people, they're like, okay, whatever. Kennedy Orr, no, she loves it, and she's turning 22.
It's kind of like my sister. It's a month-long celebration sometimes. Good
like my sister too.
Yeah, interesting.
Guess we all have that person in our family.
Well, happy birthday to Kennedy.
Absolutely, 22 years old, Eagan, Minnesota native. Key service sub for Nebraska. And actually, she's scoring some points right now. I saw Lexi Rodriguez in a press conference talking about how even though Orr comes in as just a serving sub, she's really way more important to the team than that because of her leadership off the court and just the intensity she brings.
Yeah, you need that from players, and doing a nice job right now at the line and some defense here. Wow.
That was Choboy with the dig. And Landfair finishes. What a point by the Cornhuskers.
And this is why I wanted to highlight them at the top of the show, because this backcourt is unbelievable. Lainey Choboy here laying out for the dig, rolling out of it, getting back up, and just creating these offensive opportunities for Nebraska. Not serve receive, which they're very good at, but in transition, making huge plays.
Out assistant Oabete. Easy for Murray. Now Landfair is roofed again. Colby Neal showing up and showing out in the third.
Well, Colby Neal's blocks are just powerful statements. They are exclamation points going down. Look at her closing this block and then coming down, firing her team up, getting that momentum and just doing it right.
From Poway, California, played for Coast Volleyball, a popular club program. Has been up and down during her career in terms of playing time. And even tonight, after she's had a great start to the year, struggled a little bit recently, came off the bench tonight. And she's really responded tonight after Taverdi got the start. Oabete down the line.
And I did talk to the coaches about that, about the middle blocking position, which they have some depth. So it's just sometimes looking for a different look. Taverdi runs a little bit of a quicker offense with the setter, so they were trying that. See how it goes, but also Colby Neal doing big things out here for the Ducks and huge blocks. And again, another nice touch here.
Usually Nebraska's middles tend to score when they're in there, and the Cornhuskers find a way to close that point out.
Well, Bergen Riley, when they get the second chance, she is really whipping that ball out quick to the opposite direction on the net, and it's very fast tempo, which makes it hard for the Oregon middles to really make those adjustments and close.
Harper Murray, by the way, with her 4th double-double of the season. That'll go down for an ace. John Cook praising Bergen Riley's all-around game. So really, that's what makes her great. The fact that she's really good at almost every skill, including serving. Collier, no contact.
I like that aggressive swing from Neal on the slide from Oregon, but a good dig from Nebraska. Again, making those big plays on defense. Best in the biz right there. Rodriguez in the black jersey for Nebraska.
That falls down after Rodriguez kind of got taken out of the play in the first place, and just one of those, it happens, right?
It does, but I wouldn't be surprised she probably could set it from the ground like that. I was waiting for it, but just out of reach.
We talked about how she passed Kayla Banworth earlier tonight on the program digs list for #2, and a special moment for her. She said, it wasn't like I came in to Nebraska just with the goal of climbing the digs list or anything, but it's cool because Kayla Banworth is one of the coaches that recruited Lexi Rodriguez to Nebraska when she was an assistant coach here.
Good heads-up play by Collier there. Off the block and slams it down. What a serve.
Murray does her best handling that serve. Morris digs pretty well. They like setting Oabete back there as well, not just Collier.
Well, she's having success. I like it. And all the hitters in the front row, you've got Collier in the front row, which Nebraska probably assumes the ball's going to her, which leaves this open for Oabete. Rebecca Alec a little off on the timing and a good placement behind the block in the campfire, that middle part of the court.
Rodriguez the block cover, so back to Beeson. Clear touch. So a point for the Cornhuskers. Merritt Beeson tends to play her best later in the season. Last year was the Lincoln Regional MVP in the NCAA tournament.
She is just an elite player, having a solid year for the Cornhuskers. Tonight, 4 for 4, but not normally what we see.
Olivia Mauk with a service ace, the freshman from Bennington. Mauk and Showboy, so high quality at DS, complimenting Rodriguez.
Well, and I wanted to comment on her. I mean, coming in as a freshman, you've got Rodriguez and Showboy here on the defensive side for Nebraska, and coming in as a freshman, making a spot for herself and getting time on the court. She is a very elite. She was the #2 libero in the nation, recruited for the college game, and just impressive. Has some experience with USA, the under-19 World Championship team. They actually had a comeback versus Turkey to win gold.
You can see Matt Ulmer didn't want to call timeout there. Another timeout at 14, but he had to.
top over the years. So it's, why wouldn't you want to come? So if you're home, I challenge you to come to the next game.
I love it. I'll double challenge. Well, he talked about how it's been a grassroots effort. He's built it in a way where, look, I mean, tonight's great, of course, but he wasn't really thinking, Matt Ulmer, about like that one big night where you pack the house, as much as he's been trying to increase their season ticket holders year by year, which he's done.
And he said if they average 4,000 fans this year, he'll dye his beard green. So I want to see that.
I also want to see that. I will second that as well. Nebraska on a 5-0 run, looking to send all these fans home early. Service run for Olivia Mauk. And Collier is sent away. Matt Ulmer might have to use another timeout.
Well, again, trying to go up. Nebraska's getting out early, setting up a double block on Collier. And you're right, AJ. Tried to stop this momentum, but look at that block. There's nowhere to go on that. The set was inside, attacked it. The block is closed, straight down.
Oh, it's tough, though, too. For those that have been watching the entire way, you've heard us mention it a few times, but for those who, and Minnesota, two of the better teams in the league.
That ball going out of bounds. And that was a good out to the pin set, so able to tool the block, whereas the one before where she got blocked, that set was inside a little bit more, so nowhere to go to tool.
Nebraska blew them out in the first set, won at deuce in the second set, and now has gained control of the third. Murray's second effort, Owabete was there. Bumped over by Ofebu. Bergen Riley the layup. Pure shot. Smacked down by Collier and eventually caught by Devaney McClarty. Good instincts up there in the referee stand.
She had a good touch, a one-arm dig there on the high ref stands. But what a nice swing here from Collier. Look at the rhythm out there, wide open, attacking that deep line, area one, where Bergen Riley set her for Nebraska.
Of course, a kick, which we saw from Mauk, is legal, and it was all right for McClarty to touch that because she knew there was nothing Nebraska could do on that third touch in that situation. Here is Beeson. Gregoire gets out of the way. Collier tips again. Ofebu blocked one-on-one. Rebecca Alec.
Excellent job fronting Ofebu. She's been getting up high, and Alec fronts her, meaning stays with her, gets those hands up and over quick. Beautiful press over the net.
Ofebu makes up for it.
She certainly does. What a nice answer on that one, and it starts with that perfect pass. Able to set her a little bit higher than the normal quick you see out here from some middles because she's getting up so high, touching 11 feet, and she loves to cross that over on the left side angle.
Matt Ulmer said that he thinks Ofebu and Andy Jackson are the top two most explosive middles maybe in the country. There is Jackson.
And there we have evidence of it right there with back-to-back attacks from the two middles. Andy Jackson, actually another one of the players. I was looking at Nebraska's roster and all the athletes who've had the USA experience with the U19s, with the U21 team. And what a big deal that is to have that experience and bring that back to your school.
Yeah, Jackson won gold this summer in the U21s. Norseca Championship. That's Harper Murray getting in on the action, and Nebraska gets to 20. How about the way that Harper Murray, of course, well documented what she went through this summer after the reaction to her press conference and the legal trouble she got into, and she just seems so at ease right now, both on the court and off of it, and playing great volleyball, setting a great tone with her energy for the entire team.
And here, another chance here to show, going for the high hands, everyone calling the touch.
She's got it.
She has really done an excellent job tonight, attacking the block, bringing in the soft tips right behind the block. You can see getting a high five from head coach John Cook. Very dangerous player.
We didn't get a chance to talk about yet as Collier kills it. Murray's been one of the stars in those TikTok videos with John Cook, which he says, I barely even know what TikTok is. I didn't know I had the app on my phone. It's kind of uncomfortable. It's a little awkward, but I think they like me, and that's why they're putting me in these videos.
That's right, he did say that. I think he kind of likes it too. He's getting some good dance moves.
He's viral. He just doesn't, he barely knows it. He barely knows why or what it is, but he's all over TikTok.
I barely know what it is too, so you know.
I think he should expand because there's all these videos of him, you know, dancing with the different dances that they choreograph for him. What about we get to next summer and we get some cowboy TikToks?
There you go. He does.
On the ranch.
He does, yep. Looks like we need another towel here for a little wipe of the floor, or we got
flex, and so all the players love that rule change because it's turned a lot of these courts into the preferred surface.
Not only a little wipe there to get things clean, but a good time to have a timeout for Oregon to regroup.
It's a little
They're
break
passing
there.
with two right now. Mimi Collier hiding in the back row. She can go for that attack on the big, but Owabete and Morris handling the serve here with two.
Lenny Glover tips. Bergen Riley reads it. Landfair just enough, over and down.
She looked a little surprised by that one, but coming in looking like she was going to swing and then just takes enough off, catches Oregon's block on the way down. Good step, takes a step to the ball that was inside, gets her feet there, and that's when the good things happen.
Olabente to the floor to keep Oregon in the mix, but it's still a big cushion for Nebraska. 23-16, 2 points away from closing this out in 3. Neal reads it. She's had a good day.
That was a good read.
Oregon's struggles. Absolutely was. Klein. Neal keeps it going.
Well, Bergen Riley's gotten a few dumps on Neal when she's been in the front row, and now she's keen on her. That was an excellent stop on the block. Didn't get the first kill on that one, but created this opportunity for her team and herself to go up and crush it.
Not even saying that Neal's numbers are all that great today, but she's done enough, or this is a confidence-boosting day for what had been a struggling player. Landfair gives Nebraska match point.
Well, Landfair has been very efficient on the outside, and this is a position, as I mentioned, head coach John Cook said she and Lindsay Krause been going back and forth, but the last 7, now 8 matches, Landfair has really taken it, and it's really up to the players. Who's going to take it, grab it, and run, because they have the opportunity.
Already 16 sweep victories this year for Nebraska. They're looking for their 17th. Here's Owabete. Replay on for now. Back-to-back National Junior College Player of the Year, the Italian junior setter Roberta Purishai, behind the line for the Ducks. Oregon fans watching their team for the first time in the Big Ten host Nebraska, but the Cornhuskers extend their winning streak to 20 and sweep the Ducks.
They came out and played some clean volleyball. Oregon put a good fight up in set number 2 and thought they were going to get that one, but Nebraska came out, passed well. Defense, when they had the opportunities and chances, they put it away. They did an excellent job defending, offensively going against Oregon's block tonight.